Have you ever found yourself bending over backward for your children, only to feel unappreciated or even taken for granted? Maybe you've noticed that the more you give, the more they expect, and the less they seem to value it. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many parents, especially as they get older, fall into the trap of seeking their children's approval, sacrificing their own well-being in the process. But here's the truth: you don't have to live that way. In fact, the healthiest and happiest relationships between parents and grown children are built on mutual respect, not endless sacrifice. This isn't about loving your children less. It's about loving yourself more. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't defined by how much you do for them, but by how much you honor your own needs and boundaries. When you stop chasing their approval, you create space for a deeper, more authentic connection, one where respect flows both ways. In this video, we'll talk about how to step into that confidence. We'll cover why you shouldn't argue, but instead lead by example, how to let go of emotional dependence, and why setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's necessary. Most importantly, we'll explore how building a life outside of your children doesn't mean you love them any less. It means you're living fully. Let's start with the first shift: stopping the chase for your children's approval. It's natural to want your children's love and respect. After all, you've poured your heart into raising them. But when that desire turns into a constant need for their approval, it can leave you feeling drained and unappreciated. You might catch yourself saying yes when you really mean no, just to keep the peace. Or you might downplay your own needs because you don't want to disappoint them. Sound familiar? Here's the hard but freeing truth: you don't need their permission to live your life. Think about it. When you were raising them, you didn't wait for their approval to set rules, right? You did what you knew was best for them. Now that they're adults, the same principle applies, except this time, you're the one who gets to decide what's best for you. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It just means you stop letting their opinions dictate your happiness. So how do you break this cycle? Start small. The next time you're tempted to change your plans just to please them, pause. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I truly want to, or because I'm afraid of their reaction? If it's the latter, take a step back. You might be surprised. When you stop overgiving, they may actually start valuing your time and energy more. And remember, this isn't about being cold or distant. It's about showing up as a parent who respects themselves enough to say, "My worth isn't up for debate." Because here's the beautiful thing: when you stop seeking their validation, you give them the chance to love you for who you are, not just for what you do for them. How many times have you found yourself in a pointless back and forth with your grown child? Maybe they criticize your choices, or perhaps they dismiss your advice, only to make the same mistakes you warned them about. It's frustrating, isn't it? You want to help, so you keep explaining, justifying, even pleading, but nothing changes. In fact, the more you argue, the more they dig in their heels. Here's a better approach: stop talking and start embodying. Words are easy to ignore, but a lived example, that's powerful. If you want your children to respect your boundaries, show them what self-respect looks like. Don't just tell them. If you want them to handle life's challenges with grace, let them see you doing it first. Actions don't just speak louder than words, they echo in a way arguments never can. Think about it. When you were teaching them to ride a bike, you didn't just yell instructions from the porch. You got on the bike yourself. You showed them how it's done. The same principle applies now. Want them to value family time? Be present, but don't chase them. Want them to be financially responsible? Manage your own money wisely without lecturing them about theirs. This doesn't mean you never speak up. It means you choose your battles wisely. Instead of reacting to every criticism or diving into every debate, ask yourself, is this conversation going to change anything, or am I just wasting my energy? Most of the time, you'll find that staying calm and steady does more to influence them than any heated discussion ever could. And here's the secret bonus. When you stop engaging in arguments, you reclaim your peace. No more sleepless nights replaying conversations in your head. No more feeling like you have to defend your life choices. You simply live well, and let that be your most persuasive argument. It's one of the hardest truths to face as a parent. Your children don't exist to fulfill your emotional needs. That ache you feel when they don't call. The emptiness when they too busy for you. Those aren't signs that you unloved. They signs that you've placed too much of your happiness in their hands. Here's what we need to understand. Your children's love should be a wonderful addition to your life, not the foundation of it. When we make them responsible for our joy, we do something unfair to both them and ourselves. We burden them with expectations they can never fully meet, and we deny ourselves the richness of other relationships and experiences. Start noticing where you might be emotionally overdependent. Do you feel anxious until you hear from them? Do you rearrange your schedule constantly in case they might need you? These are signs that your emotional center has shifted outside yourself. The solution isn't to love them less, it's to love yourself and your own life more. Build new emotional anchors. Reconnect with old friends who make you laugh. Find activities that absorb you completely. Gardening, painting, volunteering, where time passes without you checking your phone. The goal isn't to replace your children's place in your heart, but to expand your heart's capacity for joy beyond them. This transition might feel uncomfortable at first, like breaking in new shoes. But here's the beautiful paradox. When you stop needing your children to complete you emotionally, you create space for a healthier, more balanced relationship with them, one based on mutual choice rather than obligation. And often, that's when they start seeking you out more, drawn to the fullness of your life rather than the weight of your neediness. There comes a time when love must wear the armor of boundaries, not to push your children away, but to protect the relationship you cherish. Many of us confuse being needed with being loved. So we say yes when we mean no, tolerate disrespect, or sacrifice our peace just to keep the connection. But real love doesn't require self-abandonment. think of boundaries as the lines you draw around your time, energy, and dignity. Not to punish, but to preserve the best of yourself for yourself and ultimately for your children. Maybe it's refusing to lend money when it's been misused before, or not dropping everything to babysit when you're exhausted. Or simply saying, "I won't stay on the phone if you speak to me that way." The first time you set a boundary, it might feel like you're being cruel. You're not. You're teaching others how to treat you. Expect pushback. Grown children accustomed to overstepping will often react with guilt trips or anger. Stay calm. Repeat your limit without apology. Boundaries aren't about controlling their behavior, they're about governing your own response. Here's the surprise: boundaries don't isolate you. They filter relationships down to their truest form. The people who respect them, even if grudgingly at first, are the ones who truly belong in your life. And when your children see you model self-respect, they'll either rise to meet that standard or reveal where their priorities lie. Either way, you win. Because your worth is no longer negotiable. You've sown their wounds, both physical and emotional. You've given time, money, endless second chances. But when giving becomes routine, it's no longer a gift. It's an entitlement. And nothing drains joy faster than pouring love into a cup with no bottom. Withholding isn't about punishment, it's about preservation. Every act of generosity should come from abundance, not obligation. Ask yourself, does this person receive my help with gratitude or with expectation? If it's the latter, step back. Let them experience the natural consequences of their attitude. A child who's never allowed to miss your support won't learn to value it. This isn't withdrawal of love. It's the redirection of energy toward those who reciprocate it. Cook the big holiday meal for friends who rave about your recipes. Save the emergency fund for the grandchild who says thank you. Shift your focus to where your kindness is celebrated, not just consumed. When you stop overgiving, two things happen. You reclaim your vitality, and you give your children the chance to grow. Sometimes, absence is the only teacher that can show them what they've taken for granted. Your identity was once mom or dad, a role that filled every hour, but children grow, and clinging to that identity too tightly leaves you with empty hands when they leave the nest. The antidote: a life so rich and curious that parenthood becomes part of who you are, not the entirety. Rediscover old passions buried under years of parenting. Join the book club you've ignored for decades. Plant that unruly garden. Take the art class where no one knows you as so and so's parent. These aren't distractions from missing your children. They're reunions with the self you've neglected. New friendships matter, too. Seek out peers who understand this stage of life. Those who swap travel stories instead of babysitting woes. When your social circle isn't solely tied to your children's milestones, you'll worry less about their attention and more about living fully. Here's the secret: children are far more drawn to parents who fascinate them. The more you cultivate your own interests, the more they'll seek you out. Not out of duty, but because your world is one they want to be part of. You can't demand respect. You can only inspire it. And nothing inspires it faster than treating yourself with unwavering dignity. Children, even grown ones, have a radar for insecurity. They'll mirror back exactly how you value yourself. Stop justifying your choices to them. Stop apologizing for taking up space. When you speak of yourself with kindness, "I'm proud of how I handled that," instead of self-deprecation, "I'm just a silly old woman," they'll mirror that language back to you. This isn't about ego, it's about alignment. Respect flows naturally to those who respect themselves first. So stand tall in your decisions. Let your life be your testament. The right people will rise to meet that standard, and those who don't, their opinions lose power over you. This journey isn't about distancing yourself from your children. It's about coming home to yourself. When you stop overgiving, stop begging for scraps of attention, and start standing firm in your worth, something miraculous happens. The relationships that remain become deeper, healthier, and more authentic. You'll always be their parent. But now, you're also something even more important. Your own person. And that is a legacy worth leaving. Not just for them, but for the generations watching how you choose to live.